Dear brothers and sisters in Christ, I think the natural tendency of pastors and politicians when writing their thoughts for the new year is to be positive and upbeat. I think we do that because that is what is expected of us, and perhaps secondly, it ups our rating, our likes among our members. But suppose the reality is that the prognosis for the future is that all is not that rosy and positive. Perhaps the future will be more like what the last 2 or 3 years have been, or maybe even more concerning. The future will be worse than the past few years. That's the kind of message that will most likely not only get a lot of thumbs down, but probably won't even get read to the conclusion. But I want to try to be positive. At least I want to encourage you to deepen your faith in Christ and to do all that will assist you towards that end. Read the Bible more this year. Perhaps read it through from cover to cover for the first time. Pray more, and not just for the typical things we tend to pray for food and shelter and clothing, the things that God says He will add to us if we seek His kingdom first. Pray for your lost and backslidden children and friends. Pray for the future of families. Pray that next year we'll not see over 41 million unborn human beings aborted around the world as it did last year. Pray that Christianity will not breathe its last breath of existence in the Middle Eastern nations of Syria and Iraq, where it has existed long before it came to the West. Pray that the killing and other forms of persecution of Christians will not continue to grow around the world as it has done for the last 5 years. Pray that your children and grandchildren will complete their tertiary education without returning home as atheists. Pray that the LGBT agenda for families and children will be defeated, and that the lies and deception associated with the sexual revolution will be exposed before there is another 1.8 million new HIV infections among youth and adults, as in 2017. Pray that pornography will not entrap more of our children and cause even more sexual and physical abuse of young children by both minors and adults as it did last year. Pray for a spiritual revival to rescue Western culture before it commits moral and spiritual suicide. I want to be positive, so I encourage you towards a deepening of your spiritual life, because from where I sit, with the information that I read each day, I'm deeply concerned that too many of us are so preoccupied with the material things of life that we are actually irritated with those who keep pointing to the present and looming dangers to our traditional way of life. Too many have adopted the live and let live approach to the serious spiritual and cultural assaults that grow with every passing day. Or perhaps I should say have adopted a live and let die approach. As Christians, we are not helpless. God is our God. He is still omnipotent, and the prayer of a righteous person still availeth much. But it only does that if we do it. Pray. I'm encouraging you to pray because from my perch here on the masthead, I do not see that petitions, marches, protests, appeals to politicians, or social media campaigns will make a dent into the onward march of evil, not without the help of God. This kind of thing will not be defeated without divine intervention. If you value the natural family and the future of your children and youth, then, dear ones, pray. But also act with courage for faith and family. They are both under serious threat by the forces of unrighteousness, those who not only practice wickedness but also take pleasure in those that do it. Pray and act. Stand up for the truth of the gospel. Stand up for the name of Christ. Stand up even if it cost you the privilege of persecution for His name's sake. So, this is not wishing you just a happy new year, but wishing you a triumphant new year in what really matters. May Christ be glorified in your life this year as never before.